After now spending nearly a week with this album, spot listening to certain tracks that I enjoy, and also listening to the whole thing all the way through from start to finish, I can genuinely say I like this album. It's both familiar and new, and yes, I'm a victim of nostalgia, and I will always miss Chester. Emily's not replacing Chester, and there are several times on this album where I wanted to hear Chester sing. At the same time, Emily's voice really does get to me. Here's my full album review and some of my favorite moments. I love this line. The production vanishes behind her as she's reaching up to that note. Her voice sort of gives out just a little bit where she doesn't quite get to that high note, and the grit sort of takes over, and then she stabilizes and comes right back in. This encapsulates what I enjoy so much about listening to Emily, is that it's left alone, it's imperfect, it's teetery and aggressive. This is the kind of voice that speaks to me, where you're like, is it going to happen? Oh, it didn't quite. Oh, yes, it's good. It makes you clench. It makes you... And then it makes you go, oh, there's so many things about just in this one line. Best part of the Emptiness Machine right there. Favorite part of that scream, and yes, I like the whole scream, is the end where you hear the gasp, and that they left it in. It fits with the theme of this album and of Emily's performances and the way they've treated her voice. It's not whitewashed. It's great and it's on point when it needs to be, but they've left plenty of what some may consider warts in there. I love the gasping for air at the end. There are so many albums with great vocalists out there where you can't hear this kind of thing. Yeah, you hear the tone and it's layered up and there's so much effect on it and stuff like that, but they've really struck a wonderful balance. And the way that they've treated this scream is one of the biggest moments on the album for me. I really enjoy hearing the timbre of Mike and Emily together, especially in this subdued way on this song. It only happens this one time in this one section, in this part. That's a very new sound, pleasant, cradling vocals, both from the male and female timbres. She can not only scream and peel the paint off the walls and leave you wanting to, do this, but she can create these soulful, vulnerable moments, like when she leans into Alone and then goes up to her head voice and makes that transition in a way that sounds like she's crying a little bit, but it's still so musical. I like that not only were they not afraid to go there, but they really capitalize on that range. I'm not talking about note range, but the range of character and emotion that Emily can bring with her voice. And the music perfectly comes around that. You can tell that though these songs, this one less so maybe, sound a lot like vintage Linkin Park in so many ways, there's been this embracing of what Emily does well on all sorts of different spectrums and really capitalizing on that, giving her moments to do all sorts of different things. Sing screaming at its finest. This is just my favorite type of harsh vocals. There are notes in the key of the song happening behind that scream, underneath that harsh vocalization that she's doing. And it doesn't even really register as a note unless you're really listening carefully. She does this all over the album, but this is, I think, the best song for it and the best moment of this song. Because you don't know you're listening to singing. You think it's just screaming. And the more you listen to it and the more you dig in, you're like, oh, there's a reason that scream sounds so good. It's not just mixed well, it's performed musically. It's sung. Broken, desperate. Not singing or screaming, just letting her voice crack all over the place. You hear little peaks up into the scream, but this isn't a calculated thing. This is an abandoned thing. I've done a full review of this song, and I love that she basically builds her scream piece by piece. Starts with the vulnerability with her break, leans in intensity, compresses into it, gets more and more engaged with her angst, and then completely becomes unhinged. That's what's happening. Yes, she has great technique, But for anybody wanting to do this kind of style of vocalizations, you have to be inspired by this kind of thing. You have to start here. You can't start with trying to learn impeccable technique. Love the shimmery tremolo effect they did on her voice there. The sunlight, the shadow. Ugh, just a perfect amalgamation of wonderful vocal tone, incredible production ideas, and execution. This melody, her vocal execution, her powerful clean into broken parts of the melody. And that wonderful, clean, dirty guitar. This is my second favorite song on the album. And probably my favorite melody. Now, second favorite melody. Yeah, I love the obvious throwback to One Step Closer, and I love hearing her chirp and break and crack all over the place. It is so vulnerable. You just don't hear... That stuff is buried in so many other vocal recordings, or it's retracked because they don't want that kind of broken. Yes, you do. It's what makes the sound for me. I enjoy the vocal production on this song. I enjoy the layers. Can't help think about Kelly Clarkson. Yeah, heavier Kelly Clarkson. This one wins the Riffing and Band Arranging Award for how many things you can build around one or two, maybe two, screamed notes. Dave Grohl proved you could do this all the time. Basically just have a chorus and sing the same note and the same words over and over again, and it works if what's happening underneath it breathes, moves, and is enough of a statement to support that what could otherwise be monotony. But it's not monotony. It's great energy because of the way it's arranged. Oh. There's my favorite melody and my favorite song and maybe my favorite execution on the whole album. I love how this melody climbs. I love how she heats up her voice on just certain notes, but she's high and clean, and then there's little bits of grit, little bits of breakup. She has so much control over how she's able to bring that heat, bring that grit in at just certain key moments to make you go, I'm just telling you how I felt when I heard this song and heard her vocal performance and her interpretation of this glorious melody, how it steps up. Also reminded me of a melody that Chris Cornell would make, because there are these ways that they're approaching the notes and building and inching higher and higher that makes you want more, but also makes you sort of doubt if you're going to get it or if they're going to be able to deliver before they fall apart. Like the way that this melody was written and positioned and performed, it gave me Cornell and Chester vibes. I'm sorry, that's just that's it. Thanks for watching and listening to my highlights on this new album. If you would like help unlocking your voice, the potential with your singing and screaming, but don't quite know where to start, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free course. I'll help you pull things out of your own voice and musical creativity that you never knew were there. And I've done lots of other reviews of Emily and Chester, lots of the new stuff, lots of the old stuff. Check out this playlist to go deep into the techniques of Chester Bennington and Emily Armstrong. We'll see you for more.